Okay, let's dive right in today with a story that honestly sounds almost too good to be true at first glance.
It really does. We're talking about a 22-year-old inventor, Caleb.
Right, just 22, and he's figured out how to tackle two massive global problems at once.
Yeah, plastic waste, the stuff nobody wants,
Yeah.
and our need for cleaner fuel for vehicles
He's combined them. How?
through a patented process, turning that plastic trash directly into usable fuel. And it's apparently working.
Wow. Okay, but what really grabs you from the source material we looked at is this headline, this tension.
Exactly, the narrative keeps stressing. They tried to stop him and failed.
That just changes everything, doesn't it? It's not just a feel-good innovation story.
No, it's suddenly a battle. A young guy, basically up against potentially huge established interest.
Industry's worth billions, likely feeling threatened.
Precisely. So that's our mission for this deep dive, really. We need to go beyond just the inspiration. We need to understand a tech, how he actually engineered this high-yield process. And just as critically, figure out who they are. Who specifically felt threatened enough to try and shut it down?
Got it. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with Caleb himself. He sees this mountain of plastic,
Yeah, the stuff that usually ends up in landfills doesn't get
but
recycled.
he doesn't see trash. He sees, what,
Right.
feedstock.
Exactly. Radical resource optimization, you could call it. He looked at this huge liability
Millions of tons of plastic.
and saw it as stranded energy, just sitting there.
At 22, that's quite the mindset.
Right. He didn't ask for permission, sounds like. He just looked for a way to turn that liability into, well, a liquid asset, fuel.
And that kind of thinking, that kind of efficiency, well, it's bound to ruffle some feathers, especially when it hits the status quo.
Guaranteed. Which brings us to the opposition. The sources hint it wasn't just vague resistance.
They point fingers.
Well, they suggest specific sectors. First, you've got the traditional energy companies. Think oil refining.
Makes sense. If someone creates a substitute fuel that works in existing engines.
It's a direct threat to their market share, their price control, a potential nightmare for them.
But there was another group mentioned, right? Maybe less obvious at first.
Yes, the waste management industry. The big players in disposal and landfills.
Ah, okay. How so?
Their entire business model often relies on charging cities, companies, a lot of money to just bury this stuff.
Right. Taking the problem away?
But if a technology comes along that suddenly makes that waste valuable, turns it from a cost into a potential revenue stream.
It completely undermines their business.
Exactly. The source material suggests they might have used tactics like lobbying, pushing for regulations designed to make it too expensive for a startup like Caleb's to even operate.
Which explains the trouble getting funding early on. Investors weren't just betting on the tech.
No, they were betting on whether he could survive the fight. A fight against these really powerful, entrenched players in two huge markets.
Energy and waste. Wow.
It was a massive gamble for them. But the sources really emphasized Caleb's persistence. He just kept going.
Refining the invention, getting scientists and engineers to validate it. Pushing back.
Yeah, that determination is absolutely central to the story. He didn't back down.
Okay, so let's talk about the invention itself. The tech. We hear optimized pyrolysis. What does that actually mean?
Right. So pyrolysis itself isn't new. It's basically heating material, in this case, plastic to high temperatures.
But critically, without oxygen?
Exactly. No oxygen so it doesn't burn. Instead, the heat breaks down the long, complex plastic molecules, the polymers.
Into smaller components.
Yeah, into simpler hydrocarbons, which can then theoretically be turned into fuel.
Okay, but if the idea is old, why did earlier attempts mostly fail commercially?
Good question. Usually three big problems. One, they needed a lot of energy to run, making them expensive.
Okay.
Two, the amount of fuel they got out, the yield, was often pretty low, sometimes less than half the weight of the plastic going in.
Not very efficient.
And third, the liquid they did get was often kind of sludgy, low quality. It needed a lot more expensive refining to be useful.
Right. So where did Caleb make the breakthrough? If pyrolysis itself isn't new, what's his secret sauce?
This is where it gets really interesting, especially if you're into the technical side. It seems to be about two things: catalysts and temperature.
Catalyst, like in a catalytic converter.
Sort of, yeah. The sources say he developed or integrated a unique, low-cost catalyst inside the reactor. This catalyst basically helps crack those long plastic chains much more easily and, crucially, at lower temperatures than before.
Lower temperatures. That means less energy needed to run the process.
Precisely. That addresses the high energy cost problem straight away.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Well, by using this specific catalyst and controlling the temperature profile very precisely.
He dramatically increased the fuel yield.
That's the claim. Older systems might get, say, 60% liquid fuel back. His system, according to the documents, gets closer to 90% fuel yield per pound of plastic.
90%. Okay, that is a game changer. That sounds commercially viable.
It absolutely changes the economics. If you can reliably get that much energy out of waste plastic, it's suddenly a very competitive resource.
What about the fuel quality, though? Is it still that low-grade stuff?
Apparently not. Because of that catalyst and the precise control, the fuel produced is much cleaner, purer. Meaning the sources confirm it's basically a near drop-in replacement for standard diesel fuel. Similar energy density, compatible with existing engines.
You can just pour it into a regular truck.
That seems to be the case.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so disruptive. It doesn't require changing the vehicles or the entire fueling infrastructure downstream.
So he didn't just copy an old idea. He refined it, optimized it,
Yeah.
made it actually work efficiently.
Weaponized it, you might say, through better chemistry and engineering.
Okay, so from the lab to the real world, that's always the biggest hurdle. Does it actually hold up?
Oh, it seems to be the most compelling part now. The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
He got people to actually use it.
Yes. And not just like one guy in his pickup. He partnered with local businesses, logistics companies.
Companies running delivery trucks, transport fleets, the kind of vehicles that drive a lot.
Exactly. High mileage fleets.
Hmm.
Businesses where engine reliability and performance are absolutely critical. They can't afford downtime or problems.
And what are the results?
The feedback reported is overwhelmingly positive. Engines run smoothly, no issues.
Okay, that's good.
But even better, the sources mention internal testing data,
Yeah.
showing significantly reduced emissions compared to standard diesel. Less particulate matter, fewer specific greenhouse gases.
Wait, so it's not just as good as diesel, it might actually be cleaner in some ways.
That appears to be the finding, while also, getting rid of plastic waste.
That's incredibly compelling. It tackles both ends of the problem.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that's why connecting this to the bigger picture, the world is starting to pay attention.
Because it offers a real, tangible solution to the mountains of plastic we can't recycle.
Exactly. It gives that plastic actual ongoing economic value. Turns it from this huge environmental negative into a positive.
And the sources say governments, big international organizations, they're looking at this seriously now.
Yes, moving past that initial too good to be true skepticism. The fact that it's working in commercial fleets makes it hard to ignore.
So the opposition, whoever they were, they tried, but the tech is just working too well.
It seems that way. It's kind of the ultimate validation, isn't it? One person driven with optimized tech.
Showing that innovation really can win out, even against powerful resistance, and create real sustainable change.
One truck fleet at a time, apparently.
Okay, so let's summarize the key takeaway for you listening. Caleb's story isn't just inspiring. It's about the successful, practical application of science.
Right. We're looking at a specific type of pyrolysis using a unique catalyst system.
Which boosted the fuel yield massively from maybe 60% up to nearly 90%.
And produces fuel that's good enough to go straight into diesel engines while being cleaner.
It really turns trash into treasure. A 22-year-old inventor, and now commercial fleets are running on his fuel.
Yeah. And thinking about that success and the opposition theme we discussed, it raises a really crucial next question.
Okay.
The technology seems proven, at least at this scale. The fuel works, it's commercially attractive. The science isn't the main barrier anymore.
So what is?
The system, the infrastructure.
You mean, how do you get all that plastic waste to these processing units?
Exactly that. Think about it. For this kind of local innovation to truly make a dent in global fossil fuel use.
It needs a lot more plastic feedstock than just one town's waste.
Right. We need a massive shift in how we handle waste. Our current systems are mostly built around landfilling or maybe some basic recycling. Centralized systems.
But this tech sounds like it could work best decentralized. Smaller processing hubs closer to the waste source.
Potentially, yes. Which requires a whole new way of thinking about collecting, sorting, sophisticated sorting, and processing plastic waste everywhere.
That sounds like a huge logistical and political challenge.
It is. It's the next mountain.
Yeah.
Building that infrastructure, getting the political will, the investment, that's the fundamental shift needed to take this from powering local trucks to genuinely challenging global energy patterns.
Yeah.
That's the question for Caleb, and for all of us, really. How do we build that system?